Hello and welcome back. Today we will be making one bowl brownies. I started with a 1/4 cup of ghee and a 1/4 cup of butter. I melted it on the wood stove, but of course you can use any method that you need to. To this I will add a 1/2 cup of sugar in the raw and a 1/2 cup of unrefined organic white sugar. It is best to do this when the oil or butter and ghee is hot. This way it will melt the sugar, which gives it a head start so it won't be so grainy. To this, we will add approximately 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Give that a stir. Now I will add 2 farm fresh eggs. They're from my girl. I say girl because none of the other ones are laying. I only have 1 hen left that's laying eggs. Save the eggshells. I will leave a link in the description what I do with my eggshells. Give that a mix. By now the butter and ghee or your fat should be warm. Otherwise these would have curdled if it was too hot. Look how dark that yolk is. You cannot find that in the store. Wow. I love my girls. I mix this very well before I add the flour and things because then it could get very tough. It will not get tough no matter how long you mix the butter and sugars. And you can definitely do this on an electric machine. I never ever make brownies using an electric mixer. Sometimes I will use that mixer like this. The children loved to use that when they were little. But I got turned on to these a few years ago and they're my favorite go-to. I will leave the link for these in the description. You get 2 of them from Amazon for under $10. Nice and fluffy. To this we will add our flour, unsweetened cocoa powder, baking powder, salt, heavy cream powder, which is optional, and also optional is espresso powder. You do not have to sift yours. I just like to. And lucky for me that fits perfectly in there without touching the wet ingredients. We will start with a 1/2 cup or 69.8 grams of unbleached flour. 39.7 grams or a 1/3 cup measuring cup of organic non-GMO cocoa. Quarter teaspoon baking powder. 1/4 teaspoon fine sea salt. Now that may not go through the bottom. Stick that in there. And I'm going to use a heaping teaspoon of espresso powder. Heavy cream, I'm going to use a tablespoon. You do not have to add the heavy cream, that is purely optional. This is how I store my eggshells. I will go into the kitchen and wash them and clean them and sterilize them. And then I'll even put them in my dehydrator. Like I said, I have a whole post on that. I will leave the link in the description. Just give this a good blend. Now you just want to incorporate this until it's well mixed. We're not here to beat it. Just until, and even if you hit the bottom when you're pouring into a pan, if there's a dry spot, no harm, no foul. It's not that hard to fix. And there we have it. I will use a little ghee to grease the pan very lightly. No need to flour. Pour into a pan. Put your temperature on 350 for 25 minutes. I'm going to put mine on 325 convection oven for about 20 minutes. As soon as I start to smell them, I'll give them another 2 to 3 minutes. I like mine on a gooey side, not like a cake dry. This is when you would add chips, nuts, caramel. Today I'm only going to put chips in half of it. When it comes out of the oven, I will add more chips, and then as it's melting, use an offset knife, and it will be like a frosting. These are white chocolate chips. I also like to frost it, quote, with just plain peanut butter when it comes out of the oven. While it's still warm, I actually will warm up the peanut butter, usually on my wood stove if it's winter time, or in the microwave or on the stove. Warm it up just a little bit when I get fresh ground from Earth Fare, and then I just use that like a frosting. I don't add sugar, I don't add anything else to it. And that's a wrap. When I come back from having these in the oven, I will show you how to make brownie jar gifts. Also great for going camping. We have done this so many times when the children were little, and I am making one for my son now so he can make it on Sunday when he comes over, and then I'm going to make another one and store it in the cabinet. I'll probably be making brownies in another week, and I won't have to pull everything out. It'll just literally be dump and go. Here they are, fresh out of the oven, exactly 20 minutes at 325 convection. As you can tell, it's a little soft. I actually should have took it out 1 or 2 minutes earlier. I was not paying attention. See how it's starting to pull away from the sides? Right here. Some others don't like it as gooey, but I do. And I will probably have this tonight with homemade ice cream. I will leave the link in the description for that also. I will be creating a video shortly for all my blogs. I will add a few chips for Raymond. And this side has the white chocolate chips, this side has the dark cocoa. And here we are going to make camping or gift jar one bowl brownies. I'm going to make one for my son and one for myself. You start with the chocolate chips or caramels or whatever you're putting on the bottom. I use a scale for this. You can use a half a cup. I will give you the recipe. To begin with, if you didn't want to use the jar, this is a food grade wax paper baggie that can be composted down. I will do one in a baggie to show you, and I will do the other in a jar. I know that I say this a lot, but this recipe is forgiving. An extra gram there or an extra gram less will not affect this recipe. Now we are going to add a half a cup of flour, add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Iodized or non-iodized, Himalayan, that's your choice. That goes right in with the flour. This mixture we will add a 1/3 cup or 39.7 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder. Next comes 1 heaping teaspoon of instant espresso powder. That is purely optional. I personally love it, so I'm going to be using it, and I know my son loves it. Next is 1 tablespoon heavy cream powder. Again, purely optional. I use it every time I bake. I will leave that link in the description as well. A 1/4 teaspoon of fresh baking powder. Now this is optional, but this is something that I do. I cut out a 3-inch circle of food grade wax paper as a divider. Next we will add 1 cup of sugar to this. That is your choice if you want 1 cup of white sugar, unrefined organic sugar. I like sugar in the raw, so I'm going to use a half a cup of sugar in the raw, half a cup of organic unrefined white sugar, 100 grams of sugar in the raw, 100 grams of unrefined pure cane sugar, next comes the vanilla extract. You can add the pure vanilla right into the sugar and it will give it a vanilla sugar flavor. Since one is for me and I do have vanilla extract at home, I'm going to remove the jar for a moment. This one is for my son. I'm going to be giving him his own vanilla extract that I have made. I will be making the tutorial very soon on this one. This is pure moonshine vanilla extract that I make. It is what it sounds like. It's 100 and something proof pure white lightning. To that I add the best vanilla beans I can find and I let it ferment 4 to 6 months. I've been doing this 20 something years, so I always have some that's aged. So this is going to be for my son, and when he goes camping I know that he'll open up the jar and add it to his sugar day of. Best vanilla extract that you can find. Trust me when I say that. Mine is completed now. I will put this in and I will use a food saver to take the air out. If I was going to give this one to my son, I would put the chocolate chips or white chips that's in the food grade plastic baggie in it. I would put the lid on it, use my food saver, remove the air, and then this one would be done except for his butter. This is a half a cup of butter or 114 grams. But since this one is mine, I'm gonna move it aside and concentrate on his. He will be getting his extract. And I have one girl that is still laying. This is from Walmart for 88 cents. This is also a spoon package. I can't believe if it was $1.50 or $1.80. I do not remember, but I know sometimes you can get these from the dollar store. This is a 5-inch piece of pure felted wool that I have in my arsenal. And to this, I'm going to be clipping the recipe on a card for my son. I will attach it. With a woven dry towel that I made. Whenever I give my son something, I always tuck him in a little card because I love him and he's my best bud. He likes to go glamping, so it's not like he is out there roughing it, but he still likes to make his brownies. What you could do and cook these either in a double Dutch oven over a fire. You can cook it in a cast iron, but raised really high. I've done this for 30 years almost, and it works all the time. So once the brownies are done to your likeness, we like it more on the less cooked side. You cut it into pieces. You add a marshmallow on each piece if you want to, and then you can take another brownie and stack it on top and let it get heated up, and you can eat it like a s'mores. You can put it into a bowl. You can actually take a marshmallow, cook it over the fire like a s'mores, and get it nice and crispy and lay it right on top of the brownie while it's gooey. So he has everything for the brownies. He has the brownie mix, the brownie chips, the vanilla extract, the 2 eggs from Miss Henny Hen, butter that I made. I get my milk locally and I make my own butter. And I will probably include a little wooden scoop. And that is it. How cute is that? I picked this one up at the thrift store for 55 cents. And I'm gonna put his things in it. I'm gonna put his eggs in there, butter, vanilla extract, his spoon, his I love you more than the moon card to my son. And the only thing I tell him, he has to send me pictures. I always make him send me a picture of what he's doing and how much fun he's having, because life is short and I'm very proud of him. And that's a wrap. And that is done. And here's my eggshell urn. My husband makes fun of me about it, but I wash and sterilize my eggshells. Then I put them in the dehydrator to sterilize them. I have a whole post that's very, very fascinating on what you can do with eggshells. More than just a garden, you can take them internally. I'm gonna let you read that post because I don't want to give away the good parts. But make sure you save your eggshells and sterilize them and clean them if you can. If you have made it this far, thank you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel today. Come join me and be a part of our community. Hit the bell, then hit the all notification bell. You'll be notified each time I upload.